and welcome to an episode of Drinking the Kool-Aid. This is a comedy podcast dedicated to the mysterious. My name is Cassidy.
My name's Amanda.
And we are here, brassy roots and all.
Both of us.
Unfortunately, there were some poorly timed toner moments that happened to us this week. And so, yes, we do both have really brassy roots, but it's okay. It's going to be back to normal.
That's okay, guys.
It's going to be back to normal next week.
You won't even,
we promise.
You won't even know what happened. It'll be like a dream.
It'll be, yeah, like it never even happened. You don't even have to worry about it. You don't have to tone your roots. We have to tone ours.
So true. Maybe you do. Maybe this is actually like...
Is this your sign?
Yeah, this is your sign to go tone your roots.
Go tone your roots.
Actually.
Yeah.
We like to bring people down with us, you know?
I very stupidly put bleach on my head and was like, time to do my roots. And thought I had an extra bottle of toner, and I did not. And then so I ordered it, and then it was supposed to come yesterday, and then it got delayed till tonight. So here we are.
Here we are.
Do what you got to do with it.
But we're still here giving you guys drinking the Kool-Aid because we don't stop. We don't stop just because the toner doesn't arrive.
You think I'm a quitter?
Are you kidding?
Be so fucking for real.
Do you know who we are?
Clearly they don't.
Clearly. Gosh.
I actually am a quitter. That's the funny part.
We have
I
literally
love to quit.
We have literally changed recording dates just because we were in bad moods.
Oh man, so. I be quitting. Yeah, I really do be quitting.
I'm just like PMSing a little bit. Okay, do you want to record on Monday? Okay, great.
Yes, absolutely. I feel bloated. Okay, yeah, let's record in 3 days.
You know what? You're so right. Let's record next week.
You are so valid, Queen. Let's record in
Queen,
a week.
I support you.
Listen, I will do a 1 day turnaround. I will punish myself to like have
those just extra.
Yeah, just procrastinate. I don't know what it is, man. I love to procrastinate. I am a born and bred procrastinator.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
yeah, you are.
I can't help myself. I can't live any other way.
You know what? It's who you are. I love you.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
We're drinking Sun Cruiser?
Is that what it's called?
I think so. Mine's a hard tea. Yours is a hard
strawberry
lemonade.
No, pink lemonade.
Pink lemonade. Very tasty. I would say a good solid 8.7 out of 10.
I would say this is one of my new favorite beverages.
Beveragino.
Beveraginos.
I agree. I'm very impressed.
They're so good.
They're not carbonated, which is very important to me in my elderly age because I get heartburn.
We also burp a lot.
Yes. I love my Ollipops, but those bitches make me burp so much.
Oh my God. We've been drinking Ollipops. I think we drank them the last 2 episodes and I was just burping up a storm.
Burping left and right, girl.
Also, can I just tell you something?
What?
You don't realize how hard it is to find a story that doesn't involve poop until you're actively trying to not find a story that doesn't involve poop.
I know that's right.
I literally was like, I looked at a story and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to cover this. And I was like, wait, I'm supposed to take a poop break.
You're on your poop-a-moon, honeymoon, but like for poop.
I'm on
no
a
poop
timeout.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is ironic because you were the one that covered the poop story.
You've been putting the penalty poop.
Penalty
Poopity box.
The poopity box.
God almighty. It's so hard to come up with things. You know, we're just out here talking all the time, 24/7.
God, we talk so much.
365. It is hard to remember words.
We really, for how much we talk, you would think we would be better at talking.
I feel like maybe God only gives you so many words in your lifetime, and maybe I might be coming close to my expiration date.
See, luckily, I feel like there's so many more words that I can learn.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't have a very fancy vocabulary. I can't even think of the word that I need to say because that's how bad my vocabulary is.
Yeah. You're like, let me think. Oh, shit. And then I just did another poop word.
The poop fills my vocabulary.
It's 90% of it, for sure.
Sorry about that again.
She's trying her hardest. Back off.
Anyway, just so you guys know, I specifically didn't do a poop story for you. Okay? Okay.
Well, I'm very proud of you.
Yeah. Can't promise it's not going to happen eventually.
I mean, it is what it is, as they say.
Anyway, how are you?
I am good.
Are you really?
No.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's a lie. Why are you lying? Why are you lying to me and all of our listeners? That's so rude.
I've been so depressed. I've been working out again. That's how you know I'm in a dark place.
Wow.
I'm trying anything. Whatever you can throw at me.
They say endorphins make you happy.
Okay, I don't know what's wrong with me personally. Because once again, like sometimes I get in the vibe where I'm like, okay, nothing's working, right? Like I'm just in a very bad place. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to try working out again. Working out, I have never finished a workout and been like, feels good. I'm always like, why the fuck did I do that? That shit fucking sucked. And now I stink. And now I have to take a shower, which is like my least favorite thing in the world, to wash my hair.
Okay, but then the hour later, you don't feel a little okay?
No, I feel like shit.
Oh.
I'm sore. And I'm like, great, now what? And I'm really hungry. And now I'm really hungry. And I feel like, and then I have all this guilt about eating more, even though you're supposed to eat more when you work out because that's how your body works. But you know, yeah, it's horrible. I do not have a good time. It does not release endorphins for me whatsoever. No, I don't get it. I wish. And then so many people are like, just keep trying.
Yeah, just keep at it.
Keep at it. And I'm like, okay, well, I used to run like 6 miles a day when I was younger.
Okay, Susan. I've been doing it for 3 months.
Well, I was going to say, when I was younger, I used to run 6 miles a day or whatever when I was in cross country, and it didn't help. So I don't know what to tell you guys.
You know what? Some people get that bug. I don't get that bug. That workout bug.
I'm happy for people it works for. Just I need you guys to know it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you. Because not only do you get to feel better, but also like feel, get your body moving and do the right thing. But like, unfortunately for me, not so much.
I did somehow pick myself up off of my mattress yesterday and did a 30-minute Sabrina Carpenter
Oh,
run.
I saw that on our Apple Watches.
Oh, you saw me
They're
work
connected.
out?
Well, it tells me every time you finish a workout.
The only reason I did it was because it was Sabrina. It was a new one, and it was a Sabrina Carpenter one.
And I had just told you that you should get the Sabrina Carpenter bangs.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? I think I can.
She's like, now's the time.
I can work out to Sabrina Carpenter, and I did. I almost died, but I did.
Yeah. No, I wish like running or whatever made me feel better. It doesn't.
No, it hurts my
I also sleep
body.
I also sleep worse when I work out.
Well, yeah, because especially if you work out like a little later in the day, then you're like adrenaline is still pumping and you can't sleep.
No, even if I work out in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
You know my schedule.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean by like later in the day. Like you don't work out at like 9 a.m.
No, I work out at like noon.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And everyone's like, it's going to make you sleep so good. And I'm like, that's great that it does that for you. It just does not do that for me. I don't know what's wrong with my brain and my body, but it clearly hates me.
Well,
it wants me dead.
Listen, I'm not one to tell you what's wrong with you.
And neither is a doctor, apparently, because who can afford that? I did learn some fun facts this week.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a question for you.
Oh, no.
A little quiz show.
Okay. Quiz show. Drinking the Kool-Aid quiz show.
Okay. What do you think was the first ever toy advertised on television?
Ooh. Okay. I'm going to go. Okay, I have a couple things swirling around my brain.
Okay, you know what? I'll give you 3 guesses.
3?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I love this.
Because I love a swirl.
Okay. My first guess is like a remote control car.
Wrong.
Wrong. Okay. Rock'em Sock'em Boppers.
No.
Okay. A little weird doll that like eats food or poops.
No. You kind of had it in the first sentence.
A Barbie?
Not a Barbie.
Okay, but it's a doll.
Kind of.
A teddy bear?
No. It's hairless.
It's a hairless doll. Okay.
Once again, I don't know if you'd even call it.
Oh, like an action figure.
No, not quite.
Okay, I've already guessed 25 things.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, do you want to know?
Yes.
Mr. Potato Head.
Oh.
See, you don't. Just now do my hints make sense?
He is hairless.
He's hairless. He's kind of an action figure. Like you can change his
Sort
face
of.
and stuff.
I like Mr. Potato Head. He's a cool guy.
Loved my Mr. Potato Head when I was a kid.
Mr. and Mrs.
And yeah, I had the Mrs. too, I
Yeah,
think.
me too.
Yeah.
Wow. When did that come out? What year?
Oh, I don't know. Let's look.
Well, that's part of the fact.
Mr. Potato Head release date 1952.
Whoa.
Oh, he was
okay. Commercials were out in 1952.
Yeah, there was TV. Wow, it only cost 98 cents. The kit, sorry, this is from the pentacrastmuseum.com. Mr. Potato Head was born on May 1st. Okay, Taurus.
Is he a Taurus?
Taurus King.
He sounds like a Taurus.
He does seem like a Taurus.
Yeah.
1952. The original toy cost 98 cents, and the kit contained hands, feet, ears, 2 mouths, 2 pairs of eyes, 4 noses, 3 hats, eyeglasses, a pipe, and 8 felt pieces resembling facial hair.
I don't remember facial hair on my Mr. Potato Head.
I don't think we got facial hair on ours.
That's rude.
Yeah. God, the boomers take another thing from us.
Give us the Mr. Potato Head facial hair.
Give me the hairy potato.
What are you doing? Yeah, you said he was hairless. Turns out he wasn't. He had facial hair.
That's the only reason she didn't get it, guys. Otherwise, she would have totally fucking nailed that
I
shit.
would have had that.
She would have nailed it.
I would have had that on lock.
Like a potato to the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like a potato flying round the... What's that one? Remember
Tornado.
That? Tornado? Yeah. You guys know it.
I think that's Frank Ocean.
Don't worry, you guys know it.
You know it.
I don't need to explain it.
I don't need to explain a single goddamn thing to you
because I
people.
know you guys know it. Okay?
I'm just here living my life.
I'm just here drinking my pink lemonade. It's now or never.
Oh, I was going to say, don't you forget. Ooh, we had different songs.
Why do we always do that?
Because we were raised by very different musical influences, clearly.
I couldn't even tell you what my parents' musical influence is, to be honest.
Well, your parents are a lot older.
Yeah. My dad, like when we were in the car, I just remember like 50s radio playing.
Like my dad is like 63 or something.
Yeah, it's so young.
And my mom isn't even 60.
She just turned 60.
Oh yeah, literally.
I saw her birthday reel.
Well, I was trying to give her a couple days.
Oh, well,
couple
she
days
posted
left.
it.
Yeah, she just turned 60 on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So like my mom, I don't really remember my mom listening. I do remember my mom was obsessed with Elvis.
Okay.
But I don't really think we listened to a lot of the music. We mostly listened to like worship music. But my dad every once in a while would play like 80s or very early 90s music for us when we were in the car.
I feel like your dad's like a rocker.
My dad now likes like greasy, dirty punk rock.
Yeah.
Especially if the lead singer is like a cool chick. He's like he loves that. Like he always says like, oh, chicks who rock are like the best bands.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So like he will always text me like, oh, there's like this band that I know about. They're playing in LA and they have like 200 followers on Instagram. I'm like, why do you know about this?
Because he's awesome.
So my dad is just, he's a music guy though. Like he's like one of those people that's like 24/7 listening to music.
Yeah.
And like my mom is a reader. So
Yes.
my mom is the one who's constantly, which I also have that deep in my bones. I actually feel like I'm more of a reader than I am a music person.
I would say so.
Because she's like me, where all she does is just constantly listen or read books, like listen to audiobooks or read books.
My dad is a huge reader.
Yeah, speaking of, I just bought a new book that I started today by Stephen Graham Jones, who's one of my favorite authors. He did The Only Good Indians, which I've talked about before on this podcast. Do not miss this book, The Only Good Indians. It is 10 out of 10. The one I'm about to say right now is called The Buffalo Hunter. It literally just came out like 2 days ago. And I'm only a chapter and a half in, and I really like it so far. Check out his other book, though.
As you guys know, if you've been listening to the podcast for a long time, I am not a reader. However, The Sunrise to the Reaping.
Oh, Sunrise on the Reaping. I am planning on buying that one after I finish this one.
I actually do want to read that one.
Yeah.
Because I read all 3 Hunger Games books however long ago now. But
sorry.
What are you going to say? Don't embarrass me.
No, it's not embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Well, it's embarrassing for other people, not you.
Okay.
You're going to laugh with me.
Okay.
We're going to laugh together on this one.
Oh, good. I thought you were going to make fun of me.
So somebody posted a YouTube review of the book, right? They're like a book reviewer.
Okay.
I didn't watch it, obviously, and it was like a no spoilers review. I didn't watch it because I'm one of those people where I I don't even watch movie trailers if I can manage it. I only watch movie trailers if I'm in the movie theater, right? But I saw them posting on TikTok and they were like, people are mad at me for spoiling that Haymitch wins the Hunger Games. That's why he's alive during the Hunger Games books, you idiots.
You literally find that out in the first Hunger Games.
I could not stop laughing. I was like, yeah, why else would he be alive with Katniss?
Why else would he be her fucking... Isn't he like her...
Only one person lives. That's the whole point.
Yeah, and then he becomes her like
coach or whatever.
Yeah.
Her sponsor.
Her sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like literally that's how he became that person.
Yes.
Is that he lived. He had to have lived.
Guys, even I know that. Come on.
That's like being like, oh my gosh, you guys spoiled it. I didn't know that Lily Potter was gonna die from Voldemort. What are you talking about?
That's the whole plot of Harry Potter.
That's the plot of the... I fear we've lost the plot of the book. But yeah, that made me laugh really hard.
No,
I was
that
like,
really funny.
She was like looking at the camera like, guys, I have news for you. That's literally why Haymitch is in the Hunger Games with Katniss. Are you joking my ass?
Sounds like these people need to pick up more books, if you know what I mean.
Maybe take a break on the YA for a minute and read something else. And I'm not like anti-adults reading YA. I think it's fine.
And that's all I've ever read, for the record. And I am not.
But I do think if you are like a reader, you should read something other than YA. Like you should read some adult fiction or nonfiction. I love nonfiction too. But like you should read something that maybe has some concepts that you are unfamiliar with. If you are a reader, that is what will challenge you and make you a better reader and a better understander. You know,
are those A Court of Thorns and Roses, are those young reader or young, what is it, young adult?
No, I would say not, just because there's a lot of penetration in those.
Oh yeah, that's not for the youngins.
But it's also, they're not difficult books to read.
See, that's what I need. I need something that's not difficult.
Yeah, those books are not difficult to read.
Kind of like 50 Shades. Like those are really easy to read, but they're not young.
I would say this has a better this is a better read than 50 Shades of Grey.
Listen, once again, I haven't picked up a book in a decade. I don't know what you want from me.
I know. I don't need anything from you. I don't need you to read a book.
Thank you so much.
I'm not one of those people who moralizes reading just because it's something I enjoy.
No, you've actually never shamed me for not being a reader.
It really does not bother me.
Yeah.
It's something that I really enjoy. And when I meet somebody else who likes to read, I like to talk about it. But like, it's not something that I think... there's a lot of people who are weird and like, once again, like moralize reading. Like, oh, you don't read, so you don't care about things. And it's like, there's lots of ways to consume media these days, especially. And I think unless you're one of those people who's like, I don't read because books are too woke or something weird like that, just read. It's fine. Just read the book.
No, I do genuinely though want to read The Sunrise of the Reaping.
Let's buy it together and then we can do a book club on Patreon. You want to?
Okay.
And we'll do like it in chunks. We'll do like the first couple chapters and then we'll do it like that. Does that sound fun?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I can do that.
Okay, you just have to wait for me. No, I can read them both at the same time.
Well, it's okay. You can just let me know.
Well, I just mean like I can read them both at the same time. It's fine.
Okay. I'm going to physically read it. I think I need to like physically read it.
Yeah. I mean, I usually do too. If it's a new book, I don't do the audiobook.
Okay.
Sometimes I will if it's a book I'm not excited for. But if it's a book I'm excited for, like, for example, The Buffalo Hunter's Hunter, I bought that. Well, I bought it on Kindle.
But and like physically, not audio.
Not audio.
Okay.
No. But for the Hunger Games one, I'll probably just straight up buy the book because I already have the other ones and I like a collection. And to be honest, usually if I buy a book on Kindle or get gifted a book on Kindle, because people, thank you guys, have gifted me books on Kindle. If I really like it, I'll buy the physical copy because I like to have it.
I'm pretty sure the Hunger Games books I read were yours.
Probably.
In college.
Yeah, I think
you lent them to me.
Yeah, because I was such a dork in college. I brought like, I'm not kidding you, like 10 pounds worth of books to college. Remember, I had like a whole bookshelf set up and everyone's like, why would you bring books? And I'm like, I just like to have them like by my bed.
Well, it worked for me because I read those books.
I
did
get a lot of people to read books,
I remember too. I remember you handing me the first Hunger Games and you were like, I really think you'll like this. And then as I started reading this whole trilogy, and by the time I got to like the third one, I think that's when the first movie was coming out.
Yeah.
So I was like, because I think you were like, oh, I think the movie's coming out like within the next 2 years or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So by the time I was finished with it, the first movie came out.
It was perfect timing.
Yeah. And I was addicted. I couldn't stop.
Oh, those are hard to put down. And I mean, that author, to me, she is very, very well thought out. And like technically, yes, it is like YA, but there's a lot of themes in that book that are very adult.
Yeah.
And I think that
agree.
that's an important part of YA instead of just, writing willy-nilly bullshit that kids can read. Like,
It's like mature themes.
Yeah, for sure.
But in a way that it's like easy to
And it's all just like
read.
anti-capitalist,
Yeah.
anti-government,
Well, yeah, that's the whole plot.
pro-rebellion. Like, once again, that's why I'm like, I see all these people who are like super in a weird, in my opinion, in a weird political space, and they're like, I love the Hunger Games, and I'm like, I don't think you watched it. Even what are you talking about? I'm just like Katniss. No, you're not. You're in the Capitol, bitch. You're literally out there. What are you talking about? You're watching the Hunger Games and going, thank God that's not me. Like, what are you talking about?
You're betting on the people in the Hunger
literally.
Games.
You're saying, Daddy, can you send a canteen to Katniss?
Yeah.
You're one of those bitches. Shut up. Yeah. Oh, so another interesting thing that I learned this week, which I felt like you might think is funny.
Okay.
So there was this guy, he was known as the father of tragedy in ancient Greece. He was a writer. His name was Aeschylus, I believe.
Okay.
That's how I'm pronouncing it. And he would write tragedies from Greece and Rome and show characters that were facing death and kind of had like an ironic twist of faith, right? Fate. Like he was like very ironic in the way, like, think like M. Night Shyamalan a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So do you want to know how he died?
Ironically.
Very ironically. So legend has it that a tortoise fell from the sky after being dropped by an eagle because the eagle mistook his head, which was bald, as a rock and dropped the tortoise, intending to crack it open so that it could eat the insides.
Oh, no.
And this happened in 456 BC.
That's not a real time, but okay.
Allegedly, and is remembered as one of the most ironic deaths in history, particularly fitting for the father of tragedy, renowned for exploring human fate and irony.
That is ironic.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. So the tortoiseshell cracked his head open.
Yeah. Because allegedly, this is from themerge.com, by the way, which is a magazine and a website. Yeah, apparently the tortoise was dropped by the eagle because he thought that the bald head of him was a rock that it would crack open on, but instead it just killed him.
Damn, what color was his bald head?
Must have been shiny as hell.
I gotta know. Had a little gray hue to it?
Well, it was sun worn, I'm sure. They didn't have sunscreen back then.
True.
Or maybe
true.
he was sunscreening it up with like some dirt.
Oh, maybe it was
They do that.
maybe it was like a little, like, you know, those like red rocks and like
You get spotted.
in Arizona. You know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about? Maybe that's what they thought it was because he was so burnt on the top of his
Or maybe
head.
he had like mud on the top of his head as sunscreen.
Maybe.
Looks like a rock.
Looks like a rock.
Just saying. But I read that and thought it was very funny. And I was like, I need to tell Amanda about this.
Poor guy. But also iconic. Because now
Iconic?
you go down in history as like everyone's going to talk about your death because it was so ironic.
Iconic
And iconic.
and ironic. Yeah.
You're iconic and ironic. Okay?
Serve.
And that's how you want to be. And you're remembered all these years later, sir. You were alive in a time that didn't exist, 400 BC.
As far as Amanda's concerned, that did not even happen.
400? 400. That's crazy. You know what I mean? And we're talking about you today in 2025. That is iconic.
On a podcast.
Iconic and ironic.
Iconic, ironic. Fucking send it.
Wow.
Send it, brother.
You are a king. Sorry
Yeah.
you had to die like that, but you know.
Everyone's got to die somehow.
You know?
At least yours was
It
interesting.
has to happen. So
Speaking of people who are never going to die,
never, ever, ever.
and that's the DTK promise.
Please don't promise things like that.
Let's welcome some of our new cool kids to our Patreon.
Yes.
How does that sound?
That sounds amazing.
All right, so I wanted to welcome Cade S.
Hello, Cade.
Who joined for the whole year, actually. Thank you.
12 months of us.
We have a new gifted patron, Samantha C.
Hello, Samantha.
We have Deanne D.
Deanne, hello.
We have Jackie B.
Jackie, hello.
And Bobby.
Hello, Bobby.
Thank you guys so much for joining our Patreon. We totally dig you. We have a bunch of new stuff coming out. We have a shot of Kool-Aid coming out that should be out by the time this episode comes out. And then we also have our little discussion about the Ruby Frankie documentary that will also be on Patreon. We had a lot of people requesting that, and to them I say, well, you get what you ask for.
Yeah, I was gonna say you asked for it
because we were angry little ladies on that episode. But totally appreciate you guys joining our Patreon. Once again, it's one of the main reasons that we get to keep doing this podcast. And I also wanted to say thank you to some people who bought us some beers.
Oh.
So the first one is Rihanna B.
Hello, Rihanna.
Who bought us some beers and said, "Happy International Women's Day, ladies. It also happens to be my birthday, so celebrations all around. I love listening to you two every week while I'm at work and feeling like one of the girls. Have a drink or Taco Bell or whatever you want to keep being your awesome selves. Also, belated congratulations on the engagement, Cassidy. Sending love to you both. Happy belated birthday,
Happy
Rihanna."
belated.
Rihanna, we don't know how you pronounce it, but either way, you're cool as hell.
We love you.
And thank you to Carly, who bought us some beers and said, "Howdy, buying some beers as bribery for a birthday shout out for my best friend, Daphne. Her birthday is on the Ides of March." Gasp. You literally did gasp.
I did.
You didn't even have the script in front of you. I did. Daph introduced me and our other bestie, Sarah, to this podcast a few years ago, and the three of us listen religiously. We spent many, many car rides together listening and laughing to your pod. When Daphne moved into her house last year, she painted and ripped up the flooring with Sarah and passed the time by listening to your podcast. The podcast is very special to the three of us, and Sarah and I wouldn't know about it if it wasn't for Daphne. The three of us have been close since we were sophomores in college, and Daphne is turning 26 this March. That makes it almost 6 years of friendship. It would mean the world to us if you can give her a shout out and wish her an excellent birthday. She totally deserves it. We love you both and enjoy some beers to celebrate Daphne's 26th birthday. Happy birthday, Daphne. And I love that you have your little friend group. Amanda's crying.
Because I just literally the thought of three best friends listening to our show together and talking about it. I don't know, just so that's so special to me.
Yeah, well, because that's like us. That's like me, you, and Kate.
I know. That's what it made me think of.
And our little dumb group chat and how much catharsis and joy and that brings.
And it's we're sitting in my apartment together, just the two of us, alone, not in front of anybody. So it's you kind of forget sometimes that there's people that
real people
that are listening and they're talking about it and they're listening together, and it's something that is special to them as whatever, a friendship or what. It just makes me, I don't know. It's just it's really exciting and happy.
Well, you did it, Carly and Daphne and Sarah. You made Amanda cry,
which, listen,
isn't the hardest thing.
It's not very hard,
but it is very sweet. And happy birthday, Daphne. We are so happy. Happy 26. That's
birthday.
A very hot year to be.
Yeah, you're
congratulations.
Really hot. I can promise you that.
Oh, sorry. Girl groups and threes.
Hot.
I already know you're hot.
Hot.
I already know it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one last buy us a beer from Amanda Botts, who bought us 2 beers and said, "Love you guys. Thank you for constantly getting me through work days. You gals are the best."
Thank you, Amanda. Even though we have the same name, that's okay.
We do collect Amandas like it's our job.
Yeah. And you know what? I embrace it.
Tell her.
Speaking of people that listen together, one of our cool kids, Sarah, wants us to wish their mom, who is also a cool kid.
Oh, this was such a sweet message. Yeah.
Sarah and their mom, Kathy, both listen to the podcast. They're both cool kids. I think Sarah also said her friend Kat was also a cool kid.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, like just so many people. So Sarah wants us to say happy birthday to their mama, Kathy. Happy birthday, Kathy.
Happy
we hope
birthday.
you have the best birthday ever.
And thanks for raising a cool kid, a fellow cool kid.
Literally.
Yeah. Great work.
I know. Amazing. So we love you guys so much. We really, really appreciate you all.
We do.
Being here, being with us. It means the world.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm emotional. I can't help it.
Amanda's PMSing a little bit.
What else is new?
Hey, it did make me feel better. I was feeling like very sad and like isolated today, just like in the world of everything feels bad all the time. And so it's a very good reminder that there are other like-minded, cool people out there.
Yes.
It does make you feel a little less alone.
It does.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much. If you would like to join our Patreon, you can do that at patreon.com/drinkingthekool-aid. You can also just review us. If you don't have the money to join Patreon right now, we totally understand. We do have tons of content on Patreon. We have like over 200 separate pieces of content on there that are exclusive to Patreon.
Yeah, literally with 2 more things coming out this week.
Yeah. And like I said, we usually drop like 3-ish things a month, sometimes more, depending. And we have a lot of stuff planned for this summer and also especially for the fall. Mm-hmm. We are going to be meeting up with a lot of our other podcaster friends and doing some crossovers and different stuff like that. So make sure you're on there checking that out.
Yes.
But on that note, should we get started?
Let's get started.
Let's do it. Okay. So today we are going to be talking about Halley's Comet.
Okay.
And its strange history of schemes.
You're telling me a comet is a schemer and a scammer?
Listen, I'm not saying the comet itself is, but it definitely enables a lot of schemers and scammers.
I'm going to say it's a schemer.
Why not?
I'm going to say that, in my opinion.
Why not?
It's my opinion, Cassidy.
You can accuse her of whatever you need to because she won't be back for a while. So,
you promise?
Cross my heart and hope to die.
Okay.
So my sources today were an article by Wired Magazine by Matt Simon, an astronomy.com article by Sylvian Chatty, a Sky at Night magazine by John Powell, which I think is like a BBC offshoot, and obviously Wikipedia. Okay, so first we're just going to do some Halley's Comet like fast facts from Wikipedia. So you just all know like what kind of comet we're working with here.
Yeah, like give them to me.
Yeah. All right, so Halley's Comet, also known as 1P/Halley or Comet Halley, or sometimes just simply known as Halley.
Why?
Well, we'll get there.
Who's Halley?
It's what is known as a short period comet, which can be seen by the naked eye because it's passing closely to Earth on a pretty definitive schedule. The range is about 72 to 80 years, but most of its recorded appearances have been between 72 and 75 years.
Okay.
It last appeared in 1986 and is expected to next appear in about mid-2061.
Oh my gosh.
So we could still be alive for sure.
No, we should be.
Depends on the water wars.
I can't do math, but like how old will I be?
Okay, well, it's 2025 right now.
Just pull out your
So it's
calculator.
like another 30 something years.
Oh, I'll only be in my 60s?
Okay, well, wait. Oh my God. Can you not make me do math right now?
Your calculator is right there.
Okay.
It's fine.
2061 minus 2025, 36 plus 33. You'll be 70.
I'll be 69. I see it right there. Don't say I'll be 70. I'll be
She'll
69.
And I'll
nice.
be 67. Nice.
Yeah.
Less nice.
Less nice.
But yeah, depending on the water wars, we should be alive. This particular comet is composed of what is called volatile ices.
Okay.
So those are water, carbon dioxide, ammonia, and dust, with the dusty outer layer being the bulk of the mass of this comet.
How do people know that if we've never, like, it's not like it crash landed and we can just see that?
Well, no, but we've sent like probes and stuff.
We probed Haley.
Oh, we've probed.
Oh, shit.
R.I.P.
Sorry, Haley.
So Halley's periodic return to what is called the inner solar system has been observed and recorded by astronomers around the world since at least, and I'm so sorry about this number, 240 BC.
What?
I know. I'm so sorry. I knew you'd be upset by that one.
Remember when you said 400 and something BC?
I know.
Okay. All right. It's fine. My brain hurts.
But it wasn't until 1705 that the English astronomer Edmund Halley, that's why it's called Halley's Comet.
You're telling me this chick existed in
Dude.
Haley.
Oh, the comet is a chick.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Edmund is a man.
No, but the comet is obviously a female.
Yes.
Yeah.
All objects are.
Yeah, obviously. So this chick existed in 200 BC.
Before that, most likely.
Whatever. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then it took like that many years for a man to come and name it.
Well, and realize that it's the same comet.
I don't like it.
Okay. So Edmund Halley is the one who put together the timeline based on like ancient texts and all this stuff, that these appearances and reappearances were actually the same comet and not a different like random comets coming by. And so as a result of this discovery, obviously the comet was named after Halley. That is why it's called Halley's Comet. So here I'm going to show you
Haley?
how it works, how Halley's Comet works.
Okay.
So this is the sun, obviously, in the middle.
Okay.
And this will be on Instagram and probably on
it looks
YouTube
like
as
a
well.
target.
Yes. And so those are the planets circling around it.
Okay.
And so she goes like this. Oops, sorry.
Oh, is this a moving picture?
Yeah. So this is how she rotates. And so see how she goes past Earth?
Wait, sorry. Earth is the one in the center?
No, that's the sun. The orange one is the sun. Okay. Let's say the Earth is the green one right there, right?
Okay.
But do you see how there's a pattern?
Yeah.
Right? Like she like whoop.
Yeah.
And slides by. That's how they know that she comes every 75 years.
Okay.
And that's why she's not rotating in the same direction as the Earth. She's rotating like in a imagine there's a ring, and so instead of going in the direction of the ring, you're circling the ring from top to bottom instead.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Okay.
And that's how they can determine when she's going to be here.
Got it.
Yeah.
Sort of got it, by the way. Trying to get it.
So in 1910, which was the second to last time that Halley entered our inner solar system, obviously this is like one of the first times since Halley's recognition that people have been more aware of science, like as a general public.
Okay.
Did not make them smarter, turns out.
Well, all of this is very confusing.
I do want to say, with so much peace and love, I do feel like you would fall for some of these scams I'm about to tell you.
Of course I would. What are you talking
just
about?
Let me know which ones you think you would fall victim of.
I don't even need to know them to know I would fall for them.
But since the recognition of Halley's Comet, like way like back in like 200 BC, people have always thought and been obsessed with the idea of it bringing upon the end of the world. Because especially back then, when obviously there's no light pollution and everything, it would be visible for like a week at a time. And so people were like, oh, this is the end of the world. Like, this is it.
Yeah, I would think that too.
And that's why there was so much art and like tapestries and like writing done about it, even in like near prehistoric times, because it was such a big deal that it would show up and be that bright and that like close, quote unquote.
Cassidy, one time I was at an amusement park and I saw something light up in the sky and like part the sky, and I literally thought that there was an alien invasion and we were gonna die, and I started crying, and then I found out that it was just like a SpaceX launch.
Oh my God. Was it right around Thanksgiving?
No, it was because it was during October, because I was at Not Scary Farm.
That happened to me once. I was literally driving. It was I think one of the first SpaceX launches. I was in Arizona, and it was the middle of the night. And I had been driving all night long, and I saw that, and I literally was going, this is it.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is it. how crazy. And then I was like, there has to be an explanation. And then just more proof that yes, there usually always is an explanation. But yeah, I was like, this is it. Like I was watching it like part the sky and there was all this stuff like flying off of it. And I was like, well, it was nice knowing you, I guess, everybody in the car.
Yeah, you should have just like pulled off to the side and like waited.
I guess. Well, thank God I didn't. And I got to Thanksgiving on time. But yeah, so they've always been obsessed with like there being it like bringing the end of the world. But that's strange because obviously it keeps coming back. So clearly hasn't ended the world.
She keeps coming back for more.
Like, are we here? Clearly.
Or we're not.
But as Halley approached in early May of 2010, I was about to say 1910, things were no different. Tons of doomsday cults believed it was bringing the end of the world, and most popularly, it was believed that the comet had actually killed the King of England and Edward VII on May 6th, because that was its first day of like being visible. The Seine River in France also flooded over, and they blamed that on Halley's Comet as well.
I mean, was it her fault?
Of course, many people were concerned that the comet would eventually hit Earth and were convinced that that was what was going to happen this time, and it was our time finally, and this giant comet was going to destroy us all.
In 1910.
Yes, akin to the dinosaurs. But because science was advancing, like I said earlier, people were more aware than ever that while the comet would not hit Earth, there was a chance that the tail of the comet might pass over Earth. So as we know, when things are falling or shooting through the sky, similar to, let's say, like a rocket going in the sky and then it has like a tail to it.
Yeah.
So the rocket might move somewhere, but the tail is kind of like floating behind, so it might hit different places.
See, like to me, I thought the tail was just like smoke or gas.
Yes, it is.
So
gas.
why would that hit? Why would that destroy anything?
Well, that's what we're about to talk about.
Oh, okay, great.
When a previous comet named the Morehouse Comet had passed near Earth, the tail had contained high levels of cyanogen, which is a colorless, highly toxic, and flammable gas with a pungent almond-like odor.
The almond, that's the big thing.
Yeah. So they actually discovered this through spectroscopy, which is the study of the absorption and emission of light through irradiation by matter. So basically they looked at it and they could see like the way that light was reflecting off of the molecules in this tail, and it showed that there was this toxic chemical in the tail of this comet.
Okay.
I found that really interesting personally, because I didn't at first. I was like, how the hell would they know what chemicals are in this is 1910.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how do they know any of this?
But they're smarter than us. They're smarter. Well, not smarter than us, but smarter than we'd think.
They are smarter than us.
But so yeah, basically they just like looked through their little telescope and they saw how light was reacting to these molecules, and light reacts differently depending on the type of molecule that it's refracting upon. Yeah. That's like how we get rainbows and stuff.
I love rainbows.
Yeah. So there was a very popular astronomer at the time named Camille Flammarion, who was a French astronomer, who paved the way by stating that Earth would pass through the comet's tail, and there was a chance that, quote, cyanogen gas would impregnate the atmosphere and possibly snuff out all life on the planet.
Okay. Well, I don't like that.
Yeah. So the full interview that he did was very much like, yes, of course, there is always a possibility that this will happen, but most likely it will not. But as we know, being scared is what sells. If it bleeds, it leads type thing. Mm-hmm. And so that is the main quote that was used over and over and over again, despite Flammarion himself being like, yeah, I don't think that's what's going to happen, but like technically I guess it could if there was enough of this gas in the tail of this comet. And basically every other astronomer was like, honey, no, like that's not what's going to happen. But of course, fear sells papers, and all of the major newspapers just ran with this story that this tail of this comet was going to pass over Earth and possibly suffocate the entire population of Earth.
Yeah, I would believe that.
I know. As I was reading it, I was like, low key, like this would be Amanda.
I would just be like, okay, guys, well, that's the end. That's the end of us. Have a great life.
It was great talking to you. What does Talk to us say? Great talking to you, but I gotta go to bed now. See you later. And then just never post a podcast again.
I don't even know how you would know that, because I don't know that.
After she got accused of like running that crypto scheme, she like was on some live. I've just seen so many people use it as like a joke, obviously online, and they're like, well, great talking to everybody. See you later. And then she like has not appeared on the internet since like December 3rd or something.
And then just disappears off the face of the earth.
Like Haley, her name was Haley, like Haley's Comet.
Oh my God, her name was Haley.
We'll see her in 72 to 78 years.
Holy shit. We're going to name the comet Hawk Tua.
Yeah, just as mysteriously as she hawked, she tua'd right off.
Wow. I know you hate that was so good.
That was too good. Damn it. Fuck. All right, so the tail of Halley's Comet was allegedly supposed to pass over Earth on May 18th, 1910.
Oh, well, you were so not alive.
I was so not alive, but still, birthday.
But it's your birthday.
But yeah, like, so the night of May 18th to May 19th, that was like when the comet's tail was supposed to like start hitting us.
So then Halley's Comet came 75 years after that, right?
In 1986.
Oh, you still weren't alive? Never mind.
No, I was still not alive in 1986.
I can't do math, guys. I don't
and
know
also,
what you want
I
me to say.
think in 1986 it was like in September. It wasn't in May.
Oh, that would make sense.
So when people heard this, they became extremely paranoid about the gas. And they were like, it's going to either suffocate us or poison the earth, killing everyone who was not properly prepared. And then here we come with the doomsday preppers.
Yes.
People started buying up gas masks and wearing them during the peak of the comet. But because those sold out so quickly, other people started to panic and look for alternative methods.
What am I putting on my face, Cass? Tell me.
So many people turned to anti-comet umbrellas, which they could open up above themselves to protect themselves from either falling debris or gases coming from the sky.
What? What were these umbrellas made out of?
I think they were just regular umbrellas.
Okay.
Yeah.
But people were marketing them as anti-comet?
Yes, and people were buying them. People were buying them out.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, you would be the one marketing them and I would be the one buying them.
No, I would be the one out front being like, you idiots, stop buying this shit.
This is a scam.
And then finally the most popular and influential product came forward, which was anti-comet pills.
Oh, I would definitely take those.
So these pills became huge all around the world. One salesman marketed them as, quote, an elixir for escaping the wrath of the heavens. And this became a very popular product all over the United States, all over Central South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, basically everywhere. There was one voodoo priest in Haiti who said that he was literally making the pills as fast as he could sell them. So basically, like, he would make a pill and then he would sell it like right then and there.
Yes, yes.
And as more and more people started to share what they believed was information, but was most likely misinformation and hysterical reactions to the comet, the average person became more and more afraid and more willing to buy products like these anti-comet pills, the anti-comet umbrellas, and like I said, the gas masks were sold out ages ago.
Catch me in 36 years on TikTok Shop. I'm going to be selling these
Anti-comet
pills.
Suppositories. You have to put them up your butt.
Yes. They will be available on the TikTok Shop, though, so you will get them at a discounted price.
Or you can crush them up and snort them straight into your brain. Straight to the dome, baby. So people who couldn't get access to these things started selling all of their worldly possessions. There are plenty of people who just accepted the fact that they were going to die and said, okay, then give me the cash. I'm going to start traveling the world.
Yes,
and things like that.
as you should.
There was one guy in California who was a prospector, and he actually nailed his feet, both of his feet, and one of his hands to a cross.
What?
And when people came to rescue him, he said he begged them to please let him remain because he was making a sacrifice to save the earth the way Jesus Christ did.
You are not. No, sir. No.
No, these people were going bonkers bananas town.
You're not going to rise again.
This.
Like, it's not happening.
Their churches all around the country and all around the world were packed. People were coming in, it felt like Christmas or Easter, where suddenly
I was like, is that a day I'm supposed to know?
So I was like obviously a very avid churchgoer, and we would call people Creasters, which is they would only come on Christmas and Easter.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it felt like Creaster all over again for a few weeks because all these churches were completely packed because people were coming in like trying to atone for their sins and trying to get time to talk to the priest, right? During this time, there were actually these two guys from Texas, and they got arrested because they had been going out and about in the town and selling these pills, being like, these are anti-comet pills. And when somebody opened one of them up and like tested what was inside, it was just like a sugar pill. So of course, they got arrested for being a scammer because they were selling these pills for like what would be equivalent to like hundreds of dollars in today's money.
Yeah.
And people were buying them.
I mean, people do that today with other things.
That's true. So. That's very true. So they end up getting put in jail for selling fake products and scamming and being like snake oil salesmen. And guess what happened?
What?
People started rioting outside of the jail, begging for their release because they wanted to buy more pills.
Damn, these people were like hardcore manipulated.
Yeah, they were scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Off of one comment from somebody who literally said, I don't even think this is going to happen.
I mean,
but I guess technically it could.
If the whole world is scared, I'm going to be scared. I'm jumping on this bandwagon. I'm taking the pills. I'm getting my umbrella. I'm doing it all.
Why not? Might as well.
I'm doing it all. I'm also going to sell all of my belongings and travel the world because why not?
Why not? Yeah. So like this is all just people being ridiculous, but there was a darker side. There were people who could not get their hands on any of these supplies and ended up killing themselves and their families in an attempt to preempt them being poisoned by this gas and murdered, in like a slow, horrible way. They decided to take their own lives and take the lives of other people they knew, like in an attempt to avoid this horrible, poisoning, suffocating future that they thought was imminent.
Well, that's not funny and silly.
Mm-hmm. And other people who couldn't get their hands on the elixirs or the pills, because there were also like elixirs that you could buy. Magical elixir. It'll do the trick, sir. Yes, sirree.
The way I was just thinking of Jeff Goldblum in Wicked.
Oh,
take another drink of green elixir.
Hilarious that people were like, we don't know who her dad is. Have you never heard? I'm sorry. That was most Jeff Goldblum's. Like,
oh, did I just spoil something?
If they didn't catch on to that, they're brain dead. They won't. They are not listening to this podcast.
This is like the Hunger Games all over again.
All over again. Maybe he's racist against those animals. Oh shit! Fuck. Spoiler alert. Other people who couldn't get their hands on the elixirs or the pills started stuffing their windows, doors, and even keyholes with paper or other cloth that they could find in an attempt to try and like seal their houses to keep the noxious gas out.
Yeah, I would think that would work.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right.
No, yeah.
One of the articles I read, they said like, does this remind anyone of 2003 when the U.S. government said to duct tape all of your doors and windows shut so that if there was a terrorist attack, no fumes could get in your house?
I don't remember, but
we were kids.
I would believe it.
But apparently that is something that they said, according to the article that I read. So meanwhile, ironically, Flammarion, who was the astronomer that said the original thing that like set everyone off, him and other astronomers were all invited by Gustav Eiffel to
The Eiffel Tower.
The Eiffel Tower.
Oh, shit.
Which was named after Gustav Eiffel.
Yeah.
And they literally all went there on like the peak night where you're supposed to be able to observe it. And they also invited a bunch of people in Paris to come and look. They threw a giant feast and a party and danced all night long.
Is this they wanted to see Halley's Comet?
Yeah.
So they were like, if we're going to die at the Eiffel Tower?
No, because he said like, we're not going to die.
Oh.
I literally just said like, yeah, I guess there's a chance that could happen. But like, I'm a scientist. That's not what's going to happen. And all these other scientists were like, yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not like, that's not how gas works.
So they just had a great time.
Yeah. So they were all just partying. They're like, you fucking idiots.
Damn. You know what? That's where Sabrina Carpenter needed to be doing the Eiffel Tower during her song. People would have appreciated it then.
For sure.
Because they're not appreciating it now.
No. I'm sorry.
Shut up, everybody.
Hilarious. You guys are so annoying.
She's hilarious and I don't care.
She's like a vaudeville comic.
I know.
Let her be. I'm not even like a huge fan. I like her music.
But she does
like,
just the funniest shit.
She's just funny.
She's iconic and ironic.
Absolutely.
Literally.
Yeah, absolutely. So Halley's Comet ends up passing. They see a faint light in the sky. It's actually extremely faint. Like people were like massively disappointed by how little they could see it.
After all that.
And it turns out that the tail even missed Earth by a distance between us and the moon. So it never even hit us. It was farther away than the moon is. Which is like
where's
close,
that astronomer?
Which is like close cosmically. He was out partying because he
he was
said,
like, I told you bitches that it was gonna be fine.
He said like this technically I guess could happen, but then he even went on in that same interview and was like, yeah, but it like won't, like 99.999% what it won't happen. But of course, what do people clip for their little link? And this is why I'm always telling you guys, read more than just the clickbait, please.
True.
Life is so much larger than just a couple words.
I have gotten caught up in that one too many times.
Honestly, everyone I know has, and like that is why before I'll say anything, I'm like so.
You're like, let me actually read the full article.
Triple check, and also check my sources. Check like because I don't want to be a harbinger of doom incorrectly.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it's something funny, I don't really give a fuck. Whatever. I'll say it wrong.
You love to be a harbinger of doom.
I do love to be a harbinger of doom, but guess what? I like to be correct when I do it.
I know, but our group chat is
mostly doom.
A lot of doom.
It's not my fault that chronic wasting disease is making a rise in the United States again. I didn't do it. I didn't create chronic wasting disease. That's God's problem.
Do you guys see what I have to deal with? The other day, she sent something about like zombie deer
That's
disease.
Chronic wasting disease.
Okay, yeah, like and sent a picture of like a deer that looked like a zombie.
It's a prion disorder, okay?
What do you like how why
Similar
do you
to
guys
mad
think
cow.
I am the way I am? It's because I have this fucking person as my best friend.
God damn it. And I have brassy roots. This is the worst day ever.
You're iconic and ironic.
Something like that. So, interestingly enough, Mark Twain.
Oh, I know him.
Guy.
I know that guy.
He was actually born on November 30th, 1835, which was just 2 weeks after the perihelion of Halley's Comet, which is the closest that it gets to the sun.
Okay.
And he said, quote, I came in with Halley's Comet. It is coming again next year. The Almighty has said, no doubt. Now there are these two unaccountable freaks. They came in together. They must go out together.
He called them freaks?
Who?
Whoever was saying that.
Mark Twain said it about himself.
Oh, Mark Twain was calling himself a freak.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mark Twain said, it's coming again next year. The Almighty has said. He's saying like God said, no doubt. Now there are these two unaccountable freaks. They came in together and they must go out together. And he died on April 21st, 1910, one day after the comet had once again reached its perihelion, which is its closest part to the sun.
What the hell?
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah. And of course, the world did not end. Surprise, surprise.
Here we are.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, we're still here.
Me and Hamish are still here. The world did not end, but that didn't stop people from going a little bit cuckoo bananas again when the comet returned in 1986. Luckily, thanks to a higher acceptance and understanding of science, turns out we need that stuff. There were less scam products available or necessary, though there were some people who did fall for the quote-unquote meteor helmet product, which was on sale.
Was it fashionable?
No.
Okay.
It was ugly as hell.
Then I probably wouldn't have fallen for that one.
You're like, I'd rather die.
I'll take the pills. Give me the pills. I have bought a lot of different pills throughout the years.
You wouldn't even begin to
that
comprehend.
I thought
the
were
pills.
doing something that they were not doing. So
Fen, yes.
take it from me. Don't do it.
So some people did maybe think this time it would get us, but thanks to science, advancements in science, and belief in science, they knew that it would be far away and probably not even as bright as it was last time it was seen.
Wow.
The
Haley.
main thing people bring up is that there were 2 U.S. space shuttle missions, the STS-51L and the STS-61E, that were scheduled to observe Halley's Comet from low Earth orbit. The mission to capture the ultraviolet spectrum of the comet ended in disaster when the space shuttle Challenger exploded in flight, killing all 7 astronauts on board. They had a second scheduled departure in March of 1986, which was the STS-61E. And that was the Columbia mission carrying the Astro 1 platform to study the comet. But because of the explosion of the Challenger, that mission was also canceled. So people say like that's like the bad thing that happened when Halley's Comet came by.
Weird that I also briefly touched on the Challenger explosion when I did the NASA gargoyle.
Yes, you did. Yeah. Maybe he was there to warn them about Halley's Comet.
Just saying.
So is the comet cursed? I don't know. Some people say that it is, that it might bring around the death of very famous figures. But famous people die all the time. But one thing that I can say is that this comet will be returning in 2061. And I hope by that time we have built a world that she can smile upon as she passes, because I don't know if we've given her that yet.
No, we have not.
No.
Haley, I'll see you when I'm 69.
And I'll be 67.
I'm feeling fine.
Hey, God willing.
Once again, I will be on the TikTok shop. Don't forget.
Get those.
Sign in.
It's going to be a very fine powder.
It's going to be on sale for $51.99.
If you put it onto a spoon and use like a lighter under, I'm just kidding.
You got to roll up that dollar bill. Just kidding. We won't have dollar bills by then.
Well, in money won't be real. They'll be like, "Where's your Dogecoin?"
Exactly.
And I'll be like, "Please, sir.
Please, sir, I have this dollar bill from 2025.
I have pure gold." Shut up. In 1986, there were a bunch of people who actually saw the original comet.
Oh, wow.
In 1910, that went to a huge, massive, like, observatory area, and many of them brought their grandchildren and great-grandchildren with them to observe it. So clearly, seeing the comet is not necessarily bad luck. Some of these people lived even beyond that. There were even some public figures that saw the comet when they were like 8, 9, 10 years old and then lived to see it a second time in their 80s and 90s. Yeah. So
I hope we get to see her one day.
They call her a once-in-a-lifetime event, and I hope I get to see her in my lifetime. Yeah.
And you know what? She'll spare us because we talked so highly of her on this podcast.
Well, she's basically an influencer now.
Yeah, no.
Hello.
She's going to be like, you guys made me famous. You put me on the map.
Like she's not already the most
Well,
famous.
she's really famous, but drinking the Kool-Aid?
I'm just trying to clout chase off of Halley's Comet. I wish I was as famous as you, girl.
Yeah, we're just trying to get like her followers.
I'm just trying to get, I'm just like, whatever you're about, I'm like, I'm about it, you know?
Like, you guys, we love Haley.
Haley.
Listen to Drinking the Kool-Aid.
Come on the pod.
Oh my God, Haley, if you would come down now, we could get you on the pod.
We could get you on the pod like ASAP.
Literally, you don't even need to talk to our people.
Yeah, we'd bump you to the front of the line.
We are the people.
That's fine. But yeah, so that is just some of the fun scheming that happened during the 1910 Halley's Comet roundabout. And all the stuff that we learned about her in the last couple hundred years.
I love her.
I love her too. An icon.
Ironic and
A diva.
iconic. Yeah.
Ironic, iconic, and a diva.
She's like, I'm only going to come see you every 75 years. Like, that is.
She said that's enough. She says, you know what? I'll check up on you.
Yeah.
And then she comes around and goes, oh God, Jesus.
And then kills
Christ.
a bunch of people.
She's like, maybe I just shouldn't do this. I should just.
She's
I'm
like,
gonna, you know what? We'll give it 75 more years.
Yeah, she's like, you guys are embarrassing.
I'll give it 75 more years, and then like maybe if you figure it out by that time, I'll enlighten you or whatever she's gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you then.
See you in 2061, diva.
Bye, girl.
Bye.
We love you. Okie dokie artichoke.
Send it my way, girl.
Oh, I'm going to send it. I'm going to full on send it.
Send it straight into my brassy yellow roots.
I'm going to right now. Are you ready? So today I'm going to talk about the 2004 disappearance of the Sri Lankan Handball Team.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's
Do you know
roll.
this one?
I do.
Okay, good. This one definitely has a potential for a Cassidy rant, I feel like, at some point. So we'll see if
I will try to limit myself, you
No,
guys.
I like a Cassidy rant.
I'm always torn if people like the Cassidy rant or they hate the Cassidy rant. I don't know.
Listen, based on
I
our,
am who I am.
you am who you am, and a lot of people on Spotify comments specifically are like, Cassidy, yes, keep ranting. So
You
there
little
you go.
freaks. I love you guys.
So my sources today were ranker.com by TJ Wrights, ndtv.com by Nikhil Pandey, amusingplanet.com by Kaushik Patauri, an article on melmagazine.com by Andre Fiozzi, and Wikipedia. Okay, so I'm going to kick off this story in 1981 when a retired professional table tennis player from Germany named Dietmar Doring decides that he's going to go to Sri Lanka for a holiday after he graduates from university. And it's like the kind of period where he is in between graduating and waiting for his like business career to kind of kick off and get a job. So he's like, I'm going to go on holiday. And he picks Sri Lanka. So he's never been to Sri Lanka before. And when he gets there, he immediately gets into this taxi and Doring starts to talk to the taxi driver. And he's like, hey, dude, I'm going to be here for the next 10 days. I'm alone. Are you willing to kind of like be my tour guide? Like you could be like my guy, my taxi driver.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, yeah, like that works for me. Totally. But do you mind if I like stop by my house really quick and just like grab some clothes? Because I don't have anything with me. And if you want to like go on this 10-day excursion around Sri Lanka.
Okay, so we wanted him to like stay with him and stuff.
Yeah, he wanted him to like be his personal tour guide. So he's like, can I just go to my house really quick and grab some clothes? And Doring is like, yeah, totally. Like, I don't want you to be a stinky little guy. So they go to his house. And when they get there, the taxi driver's like, okay, I'm just going to like go inside and pack some stuff up. But do you want to come inside for a cup of tea first, like while I'm packing? And Doring's like, yeah, sure. So they get inside and he starts to look around. And that's when he sees all of these table tennis trophies all over the house. Like random.
Also, this is so just only a thing a man would do.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, stranger, would you like to come on a 10-day vacation with me? Also, yeah, I'll come into your house and have a drink.
Also, it's 1981. Also.
Yeah.
So he's looking around. He's like, this is crazy. Like this guy is a retired professional table tennis player from Germany. And now he's in Sri Lanka. Totally different country.
Yeah.
And he sees all these table tennis trophies. And he's like, holy shit, my taxi driver is a professional table tennis player.
What are the chances?
What are the odds of that? So he asks him, oh, did you play table tennis? And he's like, oh no, these are actually my sister's trophies. She's the professional. So Doring's like, oh, can I meet your sister? Like we have something in common. Like this would be really cool. So the next day, the taxi driver introduces Doring to his sister and the two of them fall head over heels in love.
Who would have thunk?
Which literally, what are the freaking odds that that would happen? Like, how cute.
That is very
You
cute.
go to a whole nother country, your random taxi driver that you just decide, hey, can you drive me around? His sister was a professional table tennis player like you were in Germany. Like, that's a soulmate.
Yeah.
So Doring falls in love with his taxi driver's sister in Sri Lanka and never leaves.
Good for him.
And they get married, and it's so cute.
Good for them.
So a few years later, in 1989, he is now the coach of Sri Lanka's national table tennis team. And he starts thinking, like, man, it would be so great if somehow I could bring people together from Sri Lanka with the people from my home country of Germany. And, you know, everyone could just come together and play sports against each other. As he loves sports.
Yeah.
He said, and I quote, "When you put a German professor with a doctorate against a Sri Lankan fisherman on a ping pong table, their professional backgrounds disappear. It's just about the sport."
I love that.
And thus, the Asian-German Sports Exchange Program is born.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I love that a lot. Tesla also loves that.
My cat loves that so much. No, I said no.
He said yes.
No, don't do that. So Doring's program ended up being a great success, with Sri Lankan and Germans playing in like tons of different tournaments throughout the years in all sorts of different sports. And then in 2003, Doring gets a call from the director of the Sri Lankan Sports Ministry. And this guy's like, "Hey, what would you think about adding handball to your roster? Like, I have a Sri Lankan national handball team here. Would you guys want to come and like play a game with us and see what's up? And maybe you can add this to your program."
Yeah, so they're just trying to like expand the yeah.
And Doring's like, "Yeah, I mean, I had no idea that Sri Lanka had a handball team, nor did I even know that they played handball at all here. That's crazy. I know Germans love it. They literally have had a national handball team in Germany for like 100 years. But he's like, "Yeah, let's totally get this going. This sounds great."
Hell yeah, brother.
So Doring sets up an exhibition match with the national German handball team in Sri Lanka. So the Germans come to Sri Lanka to play. Well, the German team, who, like I said, has been around for like 100 years, they absolutely demolish the Sri Lankan team 36-2.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Germans are also known to be like pretty towering people.
Yes, they are.
And not so much with Sri Lankan people.
Yeah, well.
Just genetically speaking, height-wise, differential happening there.
Yes. So after the game, the German team is like, "Oh, shit, this team really sucks at this game." However, they were trying to be really nice to them. And Doring also just figured like, hey, the German team, they've been around for a very long time. They're pros at handball. And he had never heard of the Sri Lankan team before, literally until now. So he's thinking, okay, like they're super new to this. Obviously, the German team was always going to win.
Yeah, you can only get better by playing more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But overall, this program wasn't about winning or losing. It was about bringing the countries together for the love of sports. So that's what this is all about.
That's what it should all be all about.
And that's what it's all about. Okay, so now Doring is like, I get it. You guys are new to this, but with some practice, I'm sure you guys will get better, obviously. So he starts to plan for a 10-game handball tournament that would take place in Germany the following year, which would give the Sri Lankan team time to like practice.
Yes.
And it would also be enough time for the Asian-German Sports Exchange Program to get all the Sri Lankan players a valid visa to get to Germany, because that was also a big part of it.
Yeah.
Not easy to travel from these countries.
Yes.
So now the Sri Lankan team gets to work. They hire a coach to help them like learn the rules of handball a little bit more than they did know. The coach is like, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. No, I'm just kidding. That's dodgeball, but I think handball is like similar. It's just basketball and dodgeball.
Handball is you like play it against a wall.
Oh, is that handball?
I believe so.
Oh, I have no idea. I thought it was like basketball, like you bounce it and then you shoot it into something.
Oh, maybe. I thought handball was like,
but you're like holding it, so you're not like you get to like hold it and run in.
You didn't Google this?
No. Because I didn't really care too much about what it was.
Yeah. Oh, it's kind of like soccer, but instead of using your feet, you like run with the ball.
Yeah,
it's in the
I know you
Olympics.
it's in the Olympics. Because you like run with it in your hands. I know that.
What's it called when you throw the ball at the wall? Wall ball?
Racket ball?
Wall ball?
Wall ball? I thought it was like racket ball.
Well, there's no racket. Use
You're right.
your hand.
You're right.
That's what I was picturing in my head. Okay, yeah. So it, based on what I'm seeing from the Olympics,
So I knew
YouTube
it
page,
wasn't. I knew you didn't throw it against the wall. I knew you held it and you like ran with it.
Yes, it seems like it's like a basketball court that you kind of play.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was picturing.
Yes, you play soccer but with your hands, but it's a way smaller court than a soccer.
Okay, that's what
than
I
a
was
soccer
picturing.
field. Okay. Yeah, here we go. Nice.
So there's like a soccer net, but like you're holding it and like run. There's no kicking. I feel like I had to play that in like high school or something.
We played
Or kickball.
I think it was called handball, where you would like throw this little tiny ball at the wall and have to like slap it. You never played that?
No, that sounds horrible.
Yes. Okay. I was thinking of wall ball.
Wall ball, which makes sense because wall. Anyway, so now let's cut to September 2004. And it is officially time for the Sri Lankan team to go to Germany for their 2-week tournament. So they arrive in the German town of Vitisslingen. I tried to type that out phonetically. And they're so excited when they get there. They immediately like start going sightseeing all around the town. They just like can't believe that they get to be here. They get invited to meet the mayor. And then that night they get invited to have dinner with the German team, who are all very, very nice to them.
Yeah.
And they're just like having the time of their lives.
Yeah, I bet.
They also get invited to do a photo shoot for the tournament, which Doring said that the whole Sri Lankan team showed up in like full 3-piece suits with ties.
Aww.
So cute, adorable.
Yeah.
But he thought it was kind of odd because according to him, most of the athletes that he'd ever like met in his life or worked with throughout the years, they would just always wear gym clothes for like things like this. But he just kind of thought maybe they're just like they're little kooky guys.
Well, they're just excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then finally, it was game day. And the Sri Lankan team, although they seemed that they had improved since their last game, which was a year before, they still didn't end up scoring a single point in this game.
Oh.
And once again, they got clobbered by the German team.
I would let them have one at least.
At least one. Like, come on. One of the guys from the Sri Lankan team, Rupa Singhe, he said, "The Germans didn't laugh at us, though. They compared it to the early beginnings of German handball in 1900.
Yeah. Well, see, that's sweet. I mean, at least they're like, hey,
I feel
man,
like
you'll get there.
yeah, like they didn't laugh at you, but like that also feels a little insulting.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I could see that.
Oh, it's just like when handball first started in
100 years
1900.
ago. Yeah.
You're just like that, you know? Like
you just need a cool 100 years to pick it
still
up.
a little insulting.
Yeah.
One of the German team members was reported as saying that the team was so awful and they didn't even seem like they knew the rules of the game nor even knew how to catch a ball at all.
Rough.
Which they did allegedly hire a coach.
Yeah.
So
Brutal.
what were you doing that whole time? Throwing wrenches?
Perhaps.
Or hitting maybe you were playing wall ball and you thought you were playing handball.
Maybe you're like me and thought it was wall ball.
However, that night, the German team once again invited the Sri Lankan team to enjoy a dinner with them. And they spent all night dancing and singing the night away, and they had the best time ever. The Germans are very nice.
Yeah, it seems like they're all having a good time together regardless.
Yeah, I mean, Germans, I think, drink a lot of beer, which I feel like would make me really happy.
Beer brings people together.
Yeah.
I've been saying that for years.
And, you know, beer gives you endorphins, and endorphins make people happy, and happy people just don't kill their husbands. Okay? Or something like that.
I think we should totally stab Caesar. That's what you sounded like. I know what you were quoting, but you said
Okay, so that all happens. They're dancing, they're singing the night away, they're having the best time. game number 2 was planned for the following day. I'm assuming like it was a game a day. I don't really know. So the next morning, the German team goes down to breakfast where they were expecting to meet up with the Sri Lankan team before the game. So being the polite Germans that they were waiting for them before they like ate breakfast. So they waited for about an hour and they were thinking, okay, maybe they like went for an early jog this morning. Maybe they got lost on their way back to the hotel. I don't know. Like there's got to be a reason why they're late.
Time differences, stuff happens.
But after another hour passed and the Sri Lankan team still didn't come downstairs, that's when they started to get worried. So a few people, along with the hotel staff, went up to the Sri Lankan players' rooms to see like if they were there, what was going on. And to their surprise, all of the rooms were empty. And the only things that were left in the rooms were a couple of dirty like pairs of shoes and sweaty t-shirts that were lying on the ground.
Okay.
But all of the 23 men that were part of the team were gone. So the German police and the Sri Lankan embassy were all notified of these missing men. They were worried about like where they could be. A lot of the German players and Doring thought, oh my gosh, they went on a jog and they got lost in the woods and they can't find their way back. We got to go searching for them. But then, upon further inspection of one of the rooms, a note was found. The note read, "For everyone, we want to say thank you. You were very friendly. We have decided to leave Germany and travel to France. We want to find better to further life. This is our own decision, and we will take full responsibility and risk for our decision. You were all very friendly and nice to us. Please forgive us for our decision. We don't have any other way right now. We cannot go back to Sri Lanka, so we will go now. Please don't worry about us. We will be fine. You have done a lot for us, and we thank you all again."
Okay. So people are like, they're defecting.
So as it turned out, upon investigation, the entirety of the Sri Lankan handball team was completely made up. And this was all an elaborate plan to get these 23 men out of Sri Lanka so that they could give themselves and their families a better life away from the poverty and civil war happening in their country. So this plan had actually started like being talked about with different family members of some of these men back in 2002, which was 2 years before the tournament even took place. So like one of the guy's brothers called him in 2002 from a different country because he made it out and was like, this is what we're going to do. You're going to learn handball and we're going to concoct this whole plan to get you to Germany to flee. So Sri Lankan officials confirmed to Doring that their country doesn't even have a national handball team, nor do they even really have any clubs at all like this. And in the letter that the Sri Lankan team had written, they stated that they went to France, but that was actually just to point police and officials in the wrong direction because they actually went to Italy, where most of their family members had left years before. Because Italy actually has a very heavy Sri Lankan population there. So people would often try to illegally leave from Sri Lanka to Italy by hiding in like those big containers on merchant ships. Mm-hmm. And some people would make it and some people would obviously not make it because you're literally hiding in a closed container. Like there's no windows, there's no doors, so anything can happen. But for these 23 men, they had this, whole plan devised from the beginning to ultimately get Doring to invite them to Germany for this tournament so they could all get visas and leave from there. One of the Sri Lankan players actually later said that they felt really bad because the Germans were so nice to them and like taking them to dinner and like they were dancing and having such a good time, and they felt so bad that the whole time like that was the plan, that they were going to leave at 5 a.m. the next day.
Yeah, but I doubt the Germans regret being kind to you, especially understanding what the situation was.
Right.
Yeah.
And we'll get there.
Yeah.
But like I said, they had to leave. This was for survival purposes. So after dinner on that first night, they all went back to their rooms. They packed up their stuff. And at 5 a.m., they all slipped out of the hotel. So what they did was they were in groups of like 2 to 4 people. And they all walked out of the hotel in different directions. And they didn't speak to each other. They didn't say anything. Like they didn't want to know where anyone was going, even though everyone kind of had a feeling where they were going. But just in case someone got caught, like let's say a group got caught, they didn't want to jeopardize the other people.
Yeah.
But they all pretty much knew that they were all heading to Italy. But no one could find the whereabouts of any of the 23 men from this fake Sri Lankan team. When the media got wind of this, everyone was talking about like where these men could be. Were they in France? Were they in Italy? What were they doing? What was this scheme? They didn't really, when the media got wind of it, they didn't really know what the reasoning behind their whole scheme was. Like they didn't portray it like that, at least.
Well, they don't care. I mean, we see the same thing happening now.
Yeah.
Like we see the same thing happening now where people call asylum seekers illegal immigrants and whatever. Like, first of all, that term illegal immigrant is stupid. But like asylum seekers, people who are fleeing their countries, you would hope that somebody would give you that grace if you needed to seek asylum.
Yes.
You would hope. Yeah.
You're going to like this part. Fox News in America.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what they were saying when they reported on this?
What did they say?
They were throwing around the words like terrorists in reference to these men.
They throw that around about people who come here for asylum.
Yeah.
That are perfectly legally asking for asylum.
Saying that they were smuggled into the country of Germany, which obviously all of that is super fucked up and not true at all.
Yeah.
From here, people started coming after Dietmar Doring, thinking like, you know, this guy who literally was behind, like the head of this organization, he put this all together. He had to have been the one behind this.
Yeah.
But he claimed, like the story he told was that he was sitting in his office one day when his assistant ran in and said, Mr. Doring, you'll never guess what happened. To which he immediately replied, don't tell me, they've gone. Which I'm like, if you weren't involved, why was that your first instinct?
I mean, if he knew anything about the political situation in Sri Lanka, he could have,
which is what he lived there for the last 9 years. So I'm assuming he had to have known that was a possibility. But part of me also thinks maybe he was just a good guy and that he was part of it. I don't know.
I mean, he could have been a part of it, but I'm just saying like that reaction isn't necessarily one that is
shocking if you've been in the country for that long.
If you know what's happening.
Yeah. But because he was getting questioned so much, he did have to come out and like make a statement where he did say, you know, I was lied to. And when he finds these men, he's going to sue them all because he can't believe that they would lie to him and all this stuff. They also questioned the Sri Lankan sports ministry because obviously Doring said that that's who he received the initial phone call from in the first place. But clearly whoever made that initial phone call saying they were from the Sri Lankan sports ministry was most likely part of the 23 men, because the actual Sri Lankan sports ministry person was like, yeah, no, like I don't know about any of this. There was no such trip ever authorized. So not me. So for the next few years, the location of these men remained a mystery to the people of Sri Lanka and Germany. But also it's possible, like I said, that maybe some of these people were actually one of the good guys and they just wanted to help get these people to a better life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Although within the next like 10 years or so, half of those 23 men did end up returning to Sri Lanka to be with their families. Just because they missed them so much, because they were literally in Italy sending money every single week to their families. When they came back, they did write letters to Doring asking for forgiveness on what they did. And Doring very much so came to understand why they did what they did. He said, you know, I was planning to sue them all, but now I realized that this was all to survive and to be able to make money for their families, to give them a better life. And I totally understand why they did it.
Yeah.
I know.
Sorry, it's just super relevant to...
It is super relevant, but I also just think it's like, I don't know. I just thought it was like a hopeful...
Yes, I mean, I agree. Like,
you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's so fucking stupid the way we treat borders.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why, like, when I was even reading about this, I was just like, why? Like, why does it have to be that hard for people to just, like, want a better life? Like, why do we make it so hard?
Yeah.
We shouldn't. Like, what these people literally had to go through, like, just the dumbest thing to what? Be able to, like, support their family.
And people love to say, like, oh, come here legally, come and go anywhere legally. Okay, well, like, a lot of the times, like, legally either costs tens of thousands of dollars or just is not an available option for what, like, people need to do at that point in their lives. And so, like, it is just such a stupid fucking concept of legal and illegal immigration. It's so fucking stupid. If somebody's willing to come to your country and work and participate in society and in a community, that's a community member of yours. And like, it's so fucking stupid.
One of the Sri Lankan fake team members, he actually said that people in Italy specifically, like, they loved when the Sri Lankan people came to their country because they were like, oh, they love to, like, work in the restaurants and, like, make the pizza, and, like, they were excited to do it and the Italian people were excited to have them. So it was like everyone was happy.
Absolutely. I mean,
and they treated them with kindness too. That's what they said specifically.
We live in Southern California, and I'm sorry, our entire economy would collapse without immigrants. We would not exist as one of the coolest parts. No offense to the rest of the country, but as one of the coolest parts. There's a reason you come on vacation here, okay?
Yeah,
bitch?
no, 100%.
It's because it's one of the coolest parts of the country. We have tons of different food options. It's the same thing with New York. Like, you have authentic food from all over the world, all over the country. Everything you could want, you could get. And it's because we have a ton of fucking immigrants. And food aside, we have all these people who are showing up, have brains that work differently than ours. And they come up with innovative ideas of ways to do traffic control and all sorts of shit that, like, us who have been born and raised in the same society forever are stuck in our old ways. We need that. Like, immigration and diversity is literally the spice of life. It's what makes a country worth being a country. Homogenization kills innovation. I'm a firm believer of that.
Sorry, I did know what I was doing with this.
You did.
I'm so sorry.
And I stand by everything that I
said. Just like, when I read the story, I just thought, I just think it's so important for people to hear these things that maybe don't think that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
and
know?
Like, if you change, like, you can always change your mind. I think there's, like, this weird idea that, like, you have to be so stuck in your ways. Dude, the way that I've changed my mind a million different times on a million different things. I used to be one of those people that was like, deport every person at the border. I literally was that person.
Yeah.
Like, and I lived in Arizona and was like, well, if my classmate gets deported, too bad for them if they were illegal. Like, that's such a fucked up way to live your life. Like, that is not a community-based, human-based way to live your life.
People just want to live a better life.
And fuck you for thinking that you're better or more deserving because you happened on luck alone be born in a specific spot or with a specific amount of money or in a specific space that somebody else wasn't. Like, sorry, we all are just dealt the hand that is totally randomly selected in a deck of souls or lives or however you want to put it. And if you are lucky enough to be somewhere in a in a comfortable space, you better not be judging what people who were dealt a shittier hand than you are up to.
Yeah. And I in my opinion, I think it's admirable to see people go through like lengths like this just to be like, I just want to support my family.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So just to close this out, in 2008, a movie about this whole scenario called, I don't know how to pronounce it, but Macon came out. It's like an Italian film. It did come out as a comedy film, but in a life imitating art kind of way, right after they wrapped shooting the film in Germany, 2 of the Sri Lankan actors didn't show up to the airport because they had ran off to Europe, just like the characters that they played in the movie.
Good for you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I just thought that was really a cool part of it too. But yeah, I didn't know what I was doing when I wrote it, but I don't know. I read it and I just thought it was like, it's important, I think, to hear what's currently happening, right? Like what we need to know, but in a different, maybe like a different words. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it could
I think that's
spark a different note in someone's mind. I don't know. And we did it. We got a Cassidy rant, and that's what I wanted.
Sorry, guys.
No, I wanted it.
You got like a rant and a half even.
But yeah,
we'll see what makes the final cut.
I just thought it was a story of like hope, and it was inspirational.
It is. And
Yeah.
I think it's important for people to be able to like also see an immigrant story and be able to relate to it. Like,
Yeah.
not, and also the fact that half of them went back. People don't want to leave their,
Yeah, they
where
don't
they're
want to
from.
leave their family.
And where they're from, like where you're from to a lot of people means a lot, right? Like how many times do we hear people like, oh, you don't like what's going on in the US, leave.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I don't want to. Like, I just want my country to be better.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave it. And also I want to defend the area that I'm in and I want to make it better.
One of the guys did say that Italy, like he was able to keep his Italian visa and able to return whenever he wanted.
That's very nice.
Which I thought was really
Yeah.
cool. I was
Yeah.
like, shout out Italy.
No, I think that's a great story. Thank you for sharing it.
Thank you. Are you sure? Was it okay?
I'm positive
Okay.
it was great. I think it was very good. Well, how about on that note, we finish out with a listener story.
Let's do it.
Oh, before we do our listener story, I did want to say we have a message from Tanya, who we read their listener story a few weeks ago. They sent us a message. They're cool kids, so they sent us a direct message and said, "Hi, ladies. Thank you for reading my story. I'm a binge listener, and I always wait a few months so I can binge for a few weeks. Loki is doing very good at the moment." Remember the cat?
Oh, Loki.
Yeah.
Yes.
He is still sleepier than he used to be, but still the bestest boy. He's turning 14 in May.
Oh my gosh.
How is Sydney doing? Is she still the best producer in the whole damn solar system? Love, Tanya.
Oh.
Yes. Sydney
Well,
is still
she's
the stinkiest.
a little lazy. I don't know.
She's been going on walks recently.
You're right. You know what? You're right. She's actually doing better.
She went on one last night.
She's improving.
Mhm. She was very scared, but she
Proud
did it.
of her.
Yeah, we're very proud. All right, so let's find a listener story. I'm going to pick a random one.
Oh, wow.
I'm feeling crazy with it.
I know.
After all these
All these rants.
rants. All right, so we are going to be doing one from our cool kid named Kayla.
Hi, Kayla.
Hey, ladies. Longtime listener, first time storyteller.
Ooh.
Not sure if this is where I send the story to, but here we are. I have always been a quote unquote spiritual person, you could say, or as my friends like to call me, a spooky bitch.
That's right.
However, I am also a big baby and have always made it a point to not invite any energy from content that I consume into my life. Sorry, putting on my glasses. Every time I watch a scary movie or listen to one of your more haunted episodes, I typically repeat to myself over and over again, although I am appreciative, I am perfectly okay admiring from afar. Anyway, last night, all of this might have caught up to me, I fear. I'm a 911 paramedic, and I
Oh.
work at least 2 24-hour shifts a week. So I tend to spend a lot of my time away from home. And last night, my younger sister slept in my room because she is currently redoing hers. She texted me in an absolute panic early this morning, saying that at 3 a.m., she was woken up by a loud crash. It sounded like something was shattering. She was too afraid to get up at the time, so when I came home this morning to investigate, on the floor of my bedroom, I found a framed photo of a pickle that I bought in memory of my pet guinea pig, Pickles, who had recently passed away. The frame was completely shattered, and my full shelf of glass animals, all of my prized trinkets, were also on the floor. But none of the animals had broken, just the frame. The hook around the frame on it was securely in the wall, and the hook on the back of the frame was also securely attached and not broken. For the frame to have fallen, it would have had to have been lifted up over the hook. So needless to say, I will be saging the house today and only watching reality TV for the next few days. Sorry if that was a long one. I love to yap. Love you guys, and thank you for keeping me entertained during my long and sometimes mostly boring, but sometimes terrifying shifts. Kayla.
Yeah, smart to just watch reality television. That's what I would be doing.
Yeah, so if there's a hook,
yeah, it has to go up and over.
You would have to clip it over and
pull
drop it to the ground.
Yeah.
Because if the hook doesn't fall out of the wall, how else did it get on the ground?
Right.
That's very strange.
So it has to go up and then
over. Yeah.
Huh. Wouldn't you know?
Well, I don't like that one bit. But R.I.P. to Pickles, the guinea pig.
What if it was Pickles?
Pickles is like, fuck you. Why are you letting her stay in our room?
Well, Pickles is a guinea pig, so
you don't believe in... Does a guinea pig not sing among God's creatures?
No, I'm just saying, like...
He has no thumbs.
How's he going to lift that up?
No thumbs.
And over. And he's also really small.
Maybe in their future life, their past death life...
I mean, I would like to think...
Guinea pigs have thumbs. I don't know.
I would like to think it was Pickles.
Saying... up to no good. Just like a guinea pig is.
A guinea pig is definitely up to no good.
Guinea pigs are continually up to no good.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for sending that in, Kayla, and thank you for being a cool kid. We totally dig you. If you have a story you would like to send in, you can do that at dtkpod.com/contact. You can also find our Patreon at dtkpod.com/support. You can also find ways to review us and our merch store, which Amanda's been updating religiously there. And if you haven't yet, please leave us a 5-star review. Like I said, it makes a huge difference whether you listen on Spotify, Apple Music, Pocket Cast, all the other ones. Drop that 5 stars. We love to see it.
Come on.
Do it. Make Amanda's day.
You won't do it. I'm calling your bluff.
We triple dog dare ya. But most importantly, just thank you for listening, and make sure you keep that front door locked.
Make sure you keep your mind open.
And keep drinking the Kool-Aid.